This is an episode from the Twilight Zone. It is one of the series in the TV. And a man was being chased. People were going after him. The whole townspeople were just bent on killing him and finishing him off. They chased him until he was trapped in a corner, and he was cornered in an alleyway. And he was pleading with them, I've come in peace, a gift for all of you. And he stretched out his hands, and in his hands were two bottles and a little note. But the people viciously attacked him, and they killed him. And they were leaving one by one, very satisfied with what they had done. But one of them saw the bloodied note, and he bent and he picked it up. When he opened that note, and there were these words, "This is a gift of my people to you, vaccines for cancer." My dear friends, like that stranger who was killed, there are many who have lived, walked, worked, and even passed away. Sometimes we have recognized them, sometimes we have not been able to recognize them. The scripture today speaks of Elisha. It speaks of Jesus. It speaks about those who are sent to us, sent our way. Sometimes they're called the disciples, sometimes they're called the little ones. And here we find a couple from Shunem. They were able to see a holy man. We find that the minute they saw him regularly coming, passing their way, stopping at their place, they were able to see Elisha as a holy man. And Jesus talks about those who are sent our way, talks about the little ones, and they are all sent by the Father. They are holy in a way. But we find that when we go back into history, there were many who have come our way, and some were burnt as heretics and witches. Many were tortured for being different. There are many who were silenced for what they believed, because their beliefs were different. And for bringing forth disturbing messages, they were put away. But yet, though many had died and many were not recognized, there were people who saw the holy ones in our midst, who saw those who were sent. They were not only sent, they also saw the sender who sent them. And these people, just like the couple from Shunem, they welcomed the visitors. They created a little space for them. They opened their homes and even offered sometimes a little cup of water. We have to ask ourselves this question: why is it some people are able to see the holy? Why some people are able to see the Holy One? Why some people are able to see that so and so is sent by God, whereas many are not able to? Why are they blind? Why can't they see? Why are they unable to see? We have to ask that question. And there is a reason for us to be able to recognize the holy, for us to recognize the Holy One, for us to recognize people sent by God. We need certain qualities in us. First and foremost, if you look at them, they were persons with adult faith. When I say adult faith, means where the faith is embodied in everyday life. It is not up in the air. The faith is not separated from living. When the faith is embodied in everyday life of the material world. And these people are daring enough to take risks. They are ready to venture into the unknown in total surrender, total trust, total abandonment in God. And that is what we see, the readiness in them. These people are able to put God first. And they are very joyful even in the many changes that take place in their life. It can be good, bad. It can be a time of plenty, a time of little. But they are very joyful people. And this is what is called adult faith. And they can worship without a church building. They can worship without sacramentals. They are people who are one with the suffering. So you see here, when we talk about adult faith, it is beyond religious activities. It is beyond seeking favor with God. Many of us want to go to God when we want to seek, when we want something from Him. And many are like that. But we find that it is not about seeking favors from God. It's not being about churchy. It is about being adults in the faith. And you see here, the kind of faith that we subscribe to determines our notion of holiness and what is holy. If we are shallow people, we have a shallow understanding of what holiness is. And if we are serious and deep about it, when we are adults in the faith, we see the holy man anywhere, everywhere. We don't confine the holiness only to the church. Secondly, you find that these people, whether the couple, whether the disciples, you find that even Jesus emphasizes, they were totally undivided and loyal to God. That is why he asked, anyone who prefers father, mother, daughter, son more than he is unworthy. It is about being worthy. What is worthiness? Our worthiness comes in putting God first. It's plain. Very clear message. They were total and undivided. Totally undivided. God was first in their lives. They are undistracted by relationships or associations, and their priorities enable them or disable them from seeing. What is your priority? Your priority will indicate to you whether you are able to see God, see the Holy One, or being unable to see God, the Holy One. Our priorities. What is our priority? And that is why Jesus said, if you put God first, you will be able to see the holy people in your midst. You're able to see the disciples. You're able to see the people God sends. And you're able to see that is a woman of faith or a woman or a man of God. And that is what you'll be able to conclude. The third thing is they were pure of heart. See, when you say pure of heart means you put aside, you filter away what distracts you, filter away what clutters you, filter away what clouds you. Very important. You see, pure heart means clarity, the clarity within. When things are clear inside you, somehow you will see the Holy One. That is why Jesus said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Why many of us cannot see God? Maybe too cluttered, too clouded, too much mess and dirt inside us. We are like a stirred up, muddy water. We cannot see. See, so that is why we have to, the certain purity of heart is necessary in order to see clearly the presence of God in situations. And then lastly, you find that these people are very perceptive to three things that God uses to attract us or to seduce us. The scripture talks about seduce, how God seduces his people. Three things: goodness, truth, and beauty. God uses these three things to seduce us, to attract us, so that we become beholden to God. And this is how God attracts us, it seems. So you find that when you're able to appreciate goodness around you, when you're able to appreciate the truth around you, when you're able to appreciate the beauty around you, beauty for beauty, not for lust, you find you will slowly begin to see the God who is present in all these three things. See, and that is why we need to, seek this. So imagine, these, these qualities come from God. Goodness is from God. Truth is from God. Beauty is from God. When you look at something and you say, wow, fantastic, that moment you're praising God. You recognize God the Creator. See, and this is how we assess things, When we see what is, in order to see the Holy One, see, is he a good person? Is truth in this person? Is beauty in this person? Beauty means there's a certain attractiveness. See? And that is how we will begin to see God. So you see here, you find that these are the three reasons why some people see God, some people don't see God. So in conclusion, I would say, whenever, sometimes if you're not sure, maybe it's easy for us. Just be simple. Welcome everything. Welcome everyone. Who knows? When you welcome them, you welcome the holy, you welcome God, or you welcome the sent. Or maybe you're welcoming the disciple of God. Or you're welcoming the little one of God. Welcome. No need to be choosy. Welcome all. And whenever God visits us, whenever God stops in your house or in your life, always a blessing comes. Just like he blessed the couple with the child, life, new life. Paul's life was an experience of new life. God visited him, he experienced everything as new life. And that is what will happen to us. Blessings flow when we welcome God into our hearts, into our homes.